Not our best night, as you guys witnessed. Offensively, we really struggled. Defensively, we struggled, and it was just an overall not great night for us. But give Purdue credit. They kept us. They got us out of rhythm offensively early with switching up man and zone, and which a lot of people have done. But we just could never get really any momentum going tonight at all on either end of the floor. And then we did. We still cut it to 5, but couldn't make plays when we had to. And again, when it's a little bit different now when teams come in here and we're the hunted now. We have that number, at least for right now, by our name. And people come in here and really want to beat us. And if we don't show up energized and ready to play, anyone in this league can beat you. And that's what we have to come to that, we have to understand that. And we got to show up every night with consistency and effort, energy, and focus. And we did not have that tonight.
Kendall, did you sense any of this in practice that, going into this week, or what kind of you think led to this performance? Because it's been an odd performance from this team this season to look like you did tonight.
We had a pretty good practice yesterday. Out of the practice after Northwestern, we kind of struggled just kind of, being together, getting kind of that energy again. But I think yesterday we had a really good practice yesterday. The energy was all there. Everyone was, doing well. So we're working on it, just trying to figure out kind of what it is and how to get over it quickly. Because obviously it's not producing the outcomes we want. So I think it's just something, within ourselves as a team that we need to figure out. And I think, we need to hold ourselves accountable individually and as a group on kind of like what's going on here. But we'll get through it. We'll be fine, and we'll be back to how we were doing.
Mm-hmm. Who do you lean on as players to try to figure out how to flip that switch?
We got to lean on each other. We're the only ones on the floor. Coach Green can only do so much on the side for us. So we really just have to be able to kind of, turn that around ourselves. And that's where kind of like maturity comes in. Because obviously like Brennan Makira played for her last year. So they kind of have a little bit. Jen played at NC State. I played at Michigan State. So like we have some people who have that, but like not everybody does. So just kind of getting like those people kind of to – show them what they need to do and how they can do it, and then just kind of get everyone together. It's just we got to lean on each other more, and we got to get people individually like out of their own heads.
Kendall, not a lot of scoring opportunities on post-ups. Most of those were drives. Did their physicality bother you a little bit? Or?
No, not really. I think, I got to do a better job of ducking in, like kind of creating my own opportunities a little bit. I feel like I kind of stood a little bit more tonight than I normally do. But, also the zone, it was kind of hard, I feel like, for the guards to get it in a little bit because they were really gapping in kind of to where I was. But I think a lot of that's me. I've just got to be able to, create my own opportunities a little bit and be able to score, kind of have a different mentality.
Kendall, Coach kind of referred to it. I think you guys got within 5, and then they kind of responded back. How tough is that when the team kind of gets that response and after you kind of put some possessions together as a team?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but that's basketball. We got to be able to do it for 40 minutes. It's nothing like, we haven't seen before. And so I feel like we just got to have a better response as a group. Like, we punched them and they punched back, and then I feel like we just rolled over after that final punch, and then it was just kind of like we weren't there. So, it's frustrating when they punch back, but that's basketball. We've got to be able to, go punch back and forth. So I think it's just kind of our mentality and kind of the maturity that we got to have in those situations.
Kendall, Coach Green talks about being the hunted now, like even earlier this season, I feel like maybe that's changed a little bit over the course. Like, what does that feel like on the floor when that's changed a little bit?
I definitely feel like, teams have a different mentality coming into play you. Initially a lot of the teams still kind of were like, oh, it's Illinois from last year. But I feel like we earned a little bit of our respect now. And so these teams know like, hey, like this is a different team. Like, so they come in with a different mentality, but we got to be able to match that. We can't, coming in and being the underdog's very different than coming in and being the hunted. It's a whole different kind of mindset. So I think we've just got to be able to shift gears a little bit and stay in that mindset. I feel like we kind of got away from it a little bit. Like we were able to initially, like once we got ranked, we're like, oh yeah, we're ranked, which is great. But like we got to be able to maintain that for the rest of the season because the season's long and, we can't just do it for 3 weeks and pick and choose when we want to.
Anything else?
Coach, there were times when they kind of bullied their way into the lane, a lot of points in the paint. What'd you see from your team defensively?
It's just very disappointing, to be honest, because it's not how we've been. It's not what I want our identity to be in this program. We hang our hat on defense, and we made up for it in the second because they were killing us in paint points in that first half, and that's something that we track every day. It's something that's huge in what we are about. And I just thought that they kind of bullied us in everything tonight. Like they did. I mean, again, give them credit. And I got to do a better job of getting them ready to go and understanding, of how we have to play consistently for 40 minutes because it just was not. In the last couple of games, it hasn't been as consistent. And that's why I said I can, I don't like to lose, but I can handle a loss if we play the way, that this program is at our core values, and we play hard and we fight and we defend and, we are scrappy and gritty and blue collar. And we just didn't have any of those characteristics tonight. And that was frustrating. So, but, it can be, like I told them in the locker room, it can be one game and we can, you're at a crossroads. What are you going to do? You got to either go one way or another. And I know which way, I'm going, and I know which way all these guys will go, and we'll be better for this part of the process. I mean, shoot. No one thought that we'd even be ranked. No one thought, so they're learning and they're trying to understand of how now they're kind of there. Okay, what is it like? The consistency piece. How do you continue to win? What does that look like? What does it take? What does it take leadership-wise? What does it take, every single day? And so this is part of the process, and we will get through it. And this league's too good. It's too good to have an off night. You're going to get beat. I mean, it is what it is. That's basketball.
Sean, on the 26 threes, did you feel like they were being taken because you weren't running anything, or did you feel like you were in rhythm and that sometimes they'll just go down?
That's exactly how I felt. I felt like we jack threes. That's not us. We are a really good three-point shooting team, but we don't take that many threes. We are take your threes out of offense, out of rhythm, inside out, our sets. And our threes were because we didn't run offense right, or we literally as a shot clock and we just jacked it up. That's not us. That has not been us one game. So I'm going to chalk this up to just some outer body experience tonight, and we can get back to it. But that is 26 threes is the most we've taken all year. Now, it would be one thing if you're hitting a lot of them, but we only hit 4. And I was concerned about them and their three-point shooting. And they only hit 3. So that wasn't even what beat us. Like, we held them to 62 points, but shoot, you can't beat anyone, not in this league, by scoring 52 points. You just can't. There's no way.
You had kind of talked about before the game just how much Janae Terry kind of gets them going. What did you kind of see from her? And do you feel like she was a difference in tonight and kind of getting them offensively going a little bit?
She does. She does so much for them, and she plays with so much confidence. And the frustrating thing for me with her is that we talked about it, we prepared them, all is how good of a rebounder she is. And she killed us on the boards. I mean, she had 14 boards. and a lot of 6 offensively. And when we were trying to make that little run down the stretch, there was multiple ones that she got boards. And those are daggers to you. Like, those take everything. We're fighting, we're trying to scrap, and then she gets an board. And, and some of that we didn't get a body on her, we didn't box out. And some of it she's just, she's 5'11" and we're 5'6". So there's a combination. We got to be that much more disciplined in our box outs, and we weren't.
Kind of the same thing that I was asking Kendall. Is there something you can maybe sense going into this game that something's just a little bit off? Maybe the last couple of games that maybe kind of lean toward maybe there being a performance from your team, or was this sort of just out of character for what you've seen from your team this season?
I think it's kind of just that point in the season too, right? You're at that halfway point. We've been finding ways to win games. We're not deep, so we're a little bit, which I'm not going to say that because that's just an excuse, and not everyone plays that many people. But, I kind of sense some of it, but we also haven't had one of these games. I mean, and we only got beat by 10. I felt like we got beat by 40. We were still right there. But, again, I've been coaching 20 years, and you always kind of have that one game where you're like, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck? I mean, we were missing shots. You guys have watched us play a lot. We missed shots that I've never seen us miss that many. Because usually we'll miss some, but then, we'll come back and kind of go on and say, layups, free throws, threes. So I'm hoping it was just totally, again, a once in a great while. But we also gotta address some things, and that's on me, and I'll do that.
To hear, maybe it's because she was sitting next to you, I don't know, but to hear Kendall seemingly understand kind of all the things that you're saying, and like, how important is that to make sure that message is not on deaf ears?
It's always good to hear and how they comprehend stuff and how they interpret stuff. And Kendall's obviously super mature and has been, she gets it. Like, she gets it, and she wants to do so well. And she didn't have a great game tonight, and she knows that. Like, I'm not going to, no one has to sit there and tell her. Like, we need her to score more. She knows that. She said that. I got to do a better job of trying getting her the ball in there, and then she needs to be aggressive and score. But they get it. This team, the thing about them, they want to be great, and they want to do so well. And I think sometimes it almost may paralyze them a little bit. It's like they don't say that they feel the pressure, but I have to look back, and they've never had to play with this pressure before. They just haven't. Genesis hasn't, right? She was on a great team but didn't play that much. Kendall, Jada, Adele, like, they weren't winning last year. Makira and Bryn were winning, but Bryn didn't really play last year. I mean, she's a freshman. Even Makira, she had 5th year, and she had two 6-year players on the team. She had a 5th-year point guard, that did a lot of that leading and kind of in those hard moments. So she's still learning. Like, these guys are still learning, and sometimes I just tell myself that this is a process, and we got to be patient, and we got to go through it. And we knew we were going to hit some of these patches, at some point, right? And now it's my job as a leader and our staff to get them back going, and hopefully we can get it, because shoot, we got a tough stretch ahead of us. So Michigan State's really good. Then we go to Michigan, and now I know who we have after that. But one day at a time, and that's all you can do.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the pace? You got some live ball turnovers, but not so many fast break points. Are you the type of team that needs to try to speed teams up? Or?
Well, they did a really good job too of getting back, and in our Phoenix transition, we weren't being aggressive in it. We had a lot of, when we did get stops finally, then we had a lot of Phoenix opportunities, and we weren't even taking some of the shots that we normally do. And I don't know why. I do know they were getting back and really, playing us and trying to take those drives away, but it's still, like, a lot of teams have done that. We were getting into the paint, and Makira was taking those pull-ups, but really no one else was even taking them. We did not do what we do and what we preach and what we teach. That's the bottom line. We just were not the best versions of ourselves tonight, and it was very, very frustrating. But again, it's over. So now it's all about finding solutions and fixing it and getting back to work tomorrow. And shoot, I'm getting back to work tonight. So appreciate you guys. Thank you.